BlackRock CEO recently said that tokenizing reward assets today is roughly where the internet was in 1996. We are talking about one of the most powerful financial institutions in the world, basically saying this is the beginning and it's going to be massive. Welcome back. Today we are covering the crypto narrative that institutional money is flooding into reward assets, or RWA. I'm going to break down what it is, why it matters, and the top 5 RWA projects you should actually know about right now. And as always, I will actually be showing you how to access these tokens through CoinEx, one of the cleaner exchanges for getting exposure to both established and emerging tokens. So what exactly are reward assets in crypto? Basically, reward assets tokens are blockchain-based digital representations of physical reward assets like government bonds, real estate, commodities, private credit, even gold. The idea is, instead of needing to buy a whole government bond or a whole apartment building, you can buy a tiny piece of it as a token on the blockchain, and that actually means more liquidity, which is easier to access for regular investors, and the ability to use these assets inside the DeFi protocol. Here's how fast this is growing. So on-chain tokenized reward asset value crossed across $27.6 billion in April 2026. So that's a 300% increase year over year. The tokenized US Treasury market alone went from $380 million in early 2023 to $14 billion in 2026. That's a 37 times increase. So this isn't retail hype. This is actually a Fortune 500 money, okay? And the crypto projects enabling it are the ones we are looking at today. The number 1 project is Chainlink. Chainlink is the backbone of the entire RWA ecosystem. So here's why. For reward assets to actually exist on the blockchain, it actually needs accurate real-time data from the outside world, like current price of gold or whether a bond has actually matured. That's called an oracle. So Chainlink is the dominant decentralized oracle network in crypto. Without Chainlink, most RWA projects simply couldn't function. Its infrastructure, which means its benefits no matter which specific RWA token ends up winning. So think of it like investing in roads rather than the car. So Link is widely available on CoinEx, and it's one of those blue chip tokens with genuine utility, okay? So the number 2 on my list is the Ondo Finance. Ondo is one of the leading projects bringing traditional financial products like US Treasuries directly into the DeFi ecosystem. Instead of going to a brokerage to buy US government bonds, you can access a tokenized version through Ondo and actually use it inside DeFi protocol, earning yields and using it as a collateral and so on, okay? What makes Ondo stand out is its focus on regulatory compliance, okay? So they are actively working with custodian and asset managers to make sure everything is above board, which is exactly what institutional investors need before putting serious money in. As trillions of dollars in the assets are eventually tokenized, Ondo is actually positioning itself as a compliant institutional gateway to do it. That's a big deal. Ondo is also on CoinEx. Definitely one to watch out for. So the number 3 is Pendle Finance. So Pendle is a bit more advanced but really exciting. It actually lets you do something unique, like split a yield bearing assets like a tokenized treasury bond into 2 separate parts, the principal and the yield, okay? So why does this matter? Because you can actually trade this part separately. You can actually lock in a fixed yield today or speculate on future yield going up. It gives you access to tools only institutional traders used to have access to. So in a world where tokenized RWAs generates real yields from interest and bonds, Pendle actually becomes the DeFi layer that lets you optimize that yield, okay? It's essentially bringing a Wall Street style interest trading to crypto, okay? Pendle is available on CoinEx market. So the number 4 is the XDC Network. So the SDC is built specifically for enterprise and trade finance. It's a blockchain focused on helping institutions tokenize real-world financial instruments like invoices, letters of credit, and trade assets. So the network is already working with real businesses and financial institutions to digitize these assets. Crucially, it's hybrid, which means part public and part private, which means businesses that need confidentiality can use it without putting everything a fully public chain. So SDC is one of those quieter projects that doesn't always make headlines, but is doing serious work in the background with real enterprise partnerships. So you're going to find SDC on CoinEx also. So the number 5 here is the Ondo Finance. So Ondo is an on-chain asset management platform, focused on institutional lending. It actually connects institutional borrowers with lenders on-chain. It's one of the platforms where RWA tokens like the stablecoins and the treasury bills are actually being put to work as collateral for real loans. Okay, so the platform has actually processed over $600 million in loans involving the RWA tokens with a TVL above 60 million. So it actually offers up to 20% APR on supported assets, which is significant yield in any environment. Okay, so Ondo is the kind of projects that actually bridge the CFI credibility with DeFi rails, which is important for getting institutional adoption over the line. Okay, so for Ondo and other emerging RWA tokens, you can check CoinEx on-chain market. So it actually lets you trade directly on-chain, so you are never locked out of a project just because it hasn't hit the main spot market. So to recap, Chainlink is the infrastructure layer, Ondo brings in traditional finance, and Pendle lets you optimize it, and the XDC serves the enterprise world, and Ondo actually connects some real institutional lending with DeFi. So the RWA story is still early. MCKC actually projects this market could reach $2 trillion by 2030. So we are very much still in the first inning. Okay, so head to CoinEx through my link in this description to start exploring these tokens. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification button for new videos. Okay, and do leave in the comment below which reward assets and projects you are most interested in. So I'm gonna see you in the next one.